Okay, so this is the mindfulness drop-in session for the mindful body scan. It's one of the 4 mindfulness sessions that we do as a drop-in, and participants can choose to join these multiple times or just individually as a one-off. But we obviously recommend that mindfulness is best when it's practiced. So we do encourage participants to join as many times as they can if they feel comfortable doing so. Okay. Obviously, as always, we do a welcome to the session for all the participants, and just to explain that this is a mindfulness drop-in session and that we're going to do a mindful body scan in the session. We go through the guidelines for the session as we do in every single one of the workshops. So we talk about things like using Teams, keeping the microphones on mute when they're not contributing, and also for this one we do suggest if they want to keep their camera off once we get going, they can do, because they might feel uncomfortable practicing the mindfulness technique on camera. And then we do a quick review of the 4 sessions that we do offer. So this is the mindfulness body scan meditation. We do also have the mindful movement, the breathing and appreciation, and the day-to-day ways to be mindful. And we do sort of swap and change the sessions depending on the participants' needs. So if a group turned up and they were all interested in doing the day-to-day ways to be mindful, then we'd do that session that day. And then, as always, we define the objectives of the session. So for this one, we define mindfulness and list the benefits. We practice mindful meditation technique in a group setting, and we reflect on how we feel before and after the mindfulness session. And we do a quick getting to know you slide where we ask the participants to introduce themselves to the group and ask them what they hope to gain from the session. So we'd start with defining what mindfulness is. So we'd ask the group to contribute their ideas behind what mindfulness is. We draw out things like being in the present moment, turning into our senses and taking time to notice things. And then we do read the definition of mindfulness as it being the quality of being present and fully engaged with whatever we are doing at that moment, free from distraction or judgment, and aware of our thoughts and feelings without getting caught up in them. We'd ask the group to contribute their ideas about the benefits of mindfulness. So obviously it can improve mood and reduce stress or anxiety, and it helps us focus. And then we'd explain what a body scan mindful meditation is. So it's about being present with the sensations you feel in your body, not trying to change these, but simply noticing them. For example, do your muscles feel tense or relaxed? Do your muscles feel heavy or light? Do you feel warm or cold? And then we do a little bit of self-reflection before we move on to the actual activity. So for this, we'd ask the participants to take some time to just really think about how they're feeling, and they don't have to contribute how they're actually feeling at that time, but it's just more about them being aware of their own feelings. And we'd explain that it's important to tune into how we are feeling before we start the mindfulness practice, because being mindful is all about being present in the moment, and it can include tuning into how we feel, and it helps us notice what effect the sessions had on us. So if we don't take time to notice, we don't know how what effect the sessions had. So we do a quick little bit of reflection on how we're feeling. And then we move on to the mindful body scan. Now for this, we do actually play a bit of relaxing music. So I'm just going to pop that on. And I'm hoping you can hear that. And then we're going to start the mindful body scan. So we would just remind the group to mute their microphones to avoid any background noise or distractions, and just to try and get in a comfortable position. So we'd sort of explain that they should notice the feelings of their feet touching the floor and think about the sensations that they're experiencing, whether the surface that they're touching is warm or cold, hard or soft, just to really get them present in that moment. So for the mindful scan, you want to be sat upright. This will help you avoid feeling too sleepy or too relaxed during the exercise. And a good way to help with posture is to imagine a piece of string pulling you up from the top of the head. So this can help you relax the shoulders and ensure you're sitting upright where possible. But obviously, if you do feel any pain or discomfort, just adjust your posture to something that's more comfortable for you. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and see if you can notice your breathing. So, is your breath deep or shallow? Does the air feel cool or warm as you breathe in or out? We just want to really focus on the sensation. You can place your hand on your stomach and notice if it's rising or falling with your breath. Or perhaps you're breathing more from your chest and your shoulders are rising up and down. If you are breathing more from the chest area rather than the stomach, try and imagine the air flowing deep down through your lungs and into the pit of your stomach. And with your hand on your stomach, can you notice it now rising and falling? Obviously, don't worry if you're not able to. Just simply pay attention to your breathing. Okay, so we're now going to pay attention to the top of the head. Just notice any sensations that you're experiencing. We're going to gradually move our attention down the body, first to the neck. So if you're feeling any tension in your neck, any stiffness there, then move your attention down to your shoulders and just focus on how that's feeling. And then the tops of the arms. Your arms feeling heavy. And then the lower arms. And it's just about noticing how that part of the body feels. We'll move on to our hands. Are they warm? Are they cold? And then just shift your focus to your upper back. Does it feel tense or relaxed? And we'll move on to our lower back. If you do notice a tense part of the body, just take a deep breath and imagine you are slowly breathing the tension out of the body. We'll move our focus to the tops of the legs, the thighs. How are they feeling? And now your lower legs, so your shins. And don't worry if the mind started to think, simply acknowledge this and bring the attention back to breathing and then to the part of the body that we're focusing on. And move your focus to your ankles. Do they feel heavy or light? And now your feet. And finally, focus on your toes. Are they feeling cold or warm? So we're going to slowly bring our attention to the room around us. Try wiggling your fingers and your toes and just notice any sounds. Slowly open your eyes when you're ready. Okay, so that's the mindful body scan. So just take a minute to think about how you're feeling now after the session. There's no right or wrong way to feel, and every person is different. It's common for people to feel quite sleepy the first few times that they practice this sort of technique. And the more it's practiced, the feeling might shift from sleepy to being relaxed or being calm. So we'd ask the group to sort of think about how they're feeling, and if anybody wanted to contribute these feelings here, we'd have a bit of a discussion about it. And then we'd ask the group to complete the course evaluation survey, just to get some feedback on the session. And then we'd remind the group that mindfulness is a practice. The mind is like a muscle. If we want to strengthen it, we must practice it. So we asked the group who would like to book onto another mindfulness session, explain when the next session will be, and just explain the next topic that we'd be going through in that session. And that's really the end of this mindfulness session here.